There's an emptiness living inside you. A silence that screams louder than any word. You take care of everyone. Smile when you need to. Keep going even when your heart feels heavy. But how long has it been since you looked within? How long since you embraced yourself with the same tenderness you offer the world? Maybe it's time to discover that loving yourself isn't selfishness. It's the purest way to honor God's love. Today you're going to discover a secret that can transform everything. When self-love meets spirituality, healing happens. It's not about becoming perfect, but about recognizing yourself as sacred. And by the end of this journey, you'll understand that everything you searched for out there was always kept inside your heart, just waiting for you to have the courage to look. Stay until the end. Your soul needs to hear this. Welcome, dear soul. If you're here at this moment, it's not by chance. Perhaps you've arrived tired, carrying the weight of difficult days. Maybe you're searching for a light in the middle of darkness, an answer to calm that restlessness that won't let you sleep in peace. Or perhaps you simply felt, in that deep silence of the soul, that you needed to hear something that would remind you of who you really are. This space is sacred. Here, there are no judgments, no demands, no rush. Here, there's only you, your essence, and the loving presence of God who has never abandoned you, even when you felt you were alone. Because the most beautiful truth that exists is this: you were never alone. Even in the darkest moments, even when your own inner voice condemned you, there was a greater force sustaining you, patiently waiting for you to realize how precious you are. Today we're going to talk about something deep, delicate, and transformative. The union between self-love and spirituality. It may seem strange at first, uniting these two words. After all, weren't we taught that loving ourselves is vanity? That putting our needs first is selfishness? How many times have you heard that you should sacrifice yourself, diminish yourself, make yourself small to fit into others' love? But what if I told you that all of this was a misunderstanding? What if the true spiritual path begins precisely when you learn to look at yourself through God's eyes? When you understand that taking care of yourself isn't moving away from the divine, but approaching it in a more truthful, more complete, more full way. Spirituality without self-love is like a tree without roots. It tries to grow, reaches for the light of heaven, but can't sustain itself because it's not grounded in the earth. And self-love without spirituality can become empty, superficial, lost in appearances that never truly satisfy. But when these two forces unite, when they meet, magic happens, healing happens, rebirth happens. On today's journey, we're going to walk together through places you may be afraid to visit. We're going to look at the wounds you've hidden, at the pain you pretended not to feel, at all the times you put yourself last and called it love. But don't be afraid. We'll be holding hands, and divine light will illuminate every step. We're going to discover that you don't need to become someone else to be worthy of love. You don't need to reach an impossible ideal, conquer the world, or prove your worth. You're already complete, already sacred, already deserving of all the love in the universe, exactly as you are now, with your flaws, your scars, your imperfections, that are, in truth, marks of a courageous soul that decided to live. So take a deep breath. Allow yourself to be here, present, open, and prepare your heart for one of the most liberating revelations you can receive. Loving yourself isn't moving away from God. It's finally understanding how much He loves you. It's looking in the mirror and seeing the masterpiece He created. It's treating your body, your mind, and your soul with the same reverence you would dedicate to the most sacred of temples, because that's exactly what you are. Shall we begin? There's a silent pain you carry. A pain that doesn't scream, that doesn't call attention, but that corrodes from within, slowly, like water gradually wearing down stone. It's the pain of not feeling enough, of looking in the mirror and seeing only the defects, the flaws, everything you believe should be different. It's the pain of living, trying to fill a void that seems to have no end, seeking validation in others' eyes. Because you forgot how to find it in yourself. You wake up early, fulfill your obligations, smile when you need to, answer that you're fine when they ask. But inside, there's a tiredness that goes beyond the body. It's a tiredness of the soul, a tiredness of pretending, of adapting, of molding yourself to fit everyone's expectations except your own. Because you learned, since you were young, that your needs matter less, that crying is weakness, that putting yourself first is being selfish, that true love is sacrifice, is diminishing yourself, is disappearing a little so others can shine. And you tried. My God, how you tried. You worked hard to be the perfect child, the ideal partner, the always available friend, the impeccable professional. You gave and gave and gave, hoping that at some point, all that love would come back to you, hoping that someone would notice how much you're worth. But the more you empty yourself to fill others, the more hollow you become. The more you forget yourself, the more lost you feel. There are nights when you can't sleep, and your mind won't stop whispering cruelty. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Look at everything you've already messed up. Who do you think you are to want more? And these voices are so familiar that you don't even question them anymore. They've become the soundtrack of your life, a constant companion that prevents you from flying, from dreaming, from believing you deserve more than the crumbs you've been accepting. You look at other people, and it seems like everyone has something you don't have. A confidence you don't feel, a lightness you don't know, a certainty that they're deserving of love, while you're still trying to prove your worth. And it's exhausting. It's so tiring to live in this constant struggle against yourself, in this inner war where you're both the wounded soldier and the enemy attacking without mercy. Maybe you've tried to fill this void in every way possible. Maybe you've lost yourself in relationships that diminished you, accepting less than you deserved because, deep down, you believed you didn't deserve anyway. Maybe you've drowned yourself in work, in obligations, in distractions, in anything that made you forget, even for a moment, this pain of not recognizing yourself, of not loving yourself, of not feeling at home in your own skin. And spirituality, which should be refuge, sometimes became one more burden because you learned a distorted version of faith, a faith that taught you that you're too small, too sinful, too unworthy, a faith of guilt, of fear, of never being good enough for God. You prayed asking for forgiveness for being who you are. You begged to be different, to be better, to finally be worthy of divine love. And when the answers didn't come the way you expected, you felt abandoned even by heaven. But you know what's sadist in this whole story? It's that while you tortured yourself, while you demanded perfection from yourself, while you punished yourself for every mistake and denied yourself every kindness, you were doing exactly the opposite of what God wants for you. You were rejecting divine creation itself. You were saying, with every cruel thought against yourself, that God made a mistake in creating you, that His work isn't good enough. And when you treat yourself with cruelty, when you deny love, compassion, and respect to the sacred temple that is your being, you close the doors for divine love to flow through you. Because how can God's light shine through someone living in the darkness of their own rejection? How can you love your neighbor if you haven't learned to love yourself? How can you recognize God in others if you can't see Him in you? This pain you feel isn't punishment. It's not because you're weak, or flawed, or insufficient. This pain is a calling. It's your soul screaming, begging to be seen, heard, loved. It's the universe whispering that it's time to stop to to finally extend to yourself the same compassion you offer so generously to the world. It's God gently touching your heart, reminding you that the journey back home begins when you learn to embrace yourself. This pain won't last forever. I promise it won't. But for it to transform, you first need to acknowledge it. You need to allow it to exist, without judgment, without rushing to make it disappear. You need to look at it with eyes of compassion and say, I see you. I understand. And it's okay. We're going to take care of this together, because on the other side of this pain, there's something waiting for you, something beautiful, sacred, and transformative. And to get there, we need to take the next step on this journey.
What if I told you that God has never seen you the way you see yourself? That while you enumerate your defects, He contemplates your beauty. That while you punish yourself for your failures, He wraps you in infinite compassion. The divine perspective of you is so different, so much more generous, so much more truthful than any judgment you make of yourself. You know, there's a profound misconception we carry about spirituality. We learned that to be spiritual, we need to diminish ourselves. That humility is making yourself small, is denying your worth, is living in constant sacrifice. But that was never the true divine message. True spirituality doesn't ask you to be less. It invites you to be fully who you are. It doesn't teach you to hide. It encourages you to shine. It doesn't condemn you for being human. It celebrates you for it. When God created you, He didn't make any mistakes. Every trait of yours, every characteristic, every particularity you consider imperfection was carefully woven with love. You're not a draft waiting to be rewritten. You're the complete work, perfect in your uniqueness. And when you reject yourself, when you treat yourself with cruelty, you're not just hurting yourself, you're questioning the Creator's wisdom. Think about this for a moment. If an artist spent years creating a sculpture, placing every detail with care, with intention, with love, how would he feel if the work itself began to destroy itself, saying it's not good enough? God's heart grieves every time you look at yourself with contempt, because He sees in you what you can't see yet. A living miracle, a divine spark, a unique and unrepeatable manifestation of the love that sustains the universe. True spirituality begins with the recognition that you are sick, not because you conquered, deserved, or proved something, but simply because you exist, because you breathe, because you're part of the divine fabric that unites all things. You don't need to earn God's love. You already are that love in human form. And loving yourself isn't moving away from the divine. It's finally understanding who you really are in the eyes of eternity. All those voices that taught you that you're not enough, they don't come from God. They come from fear, from wounds, from disconnection. God never diminished you. God never compared you. God never told you that you needed to be different from what you are. All those judgments, those impossible demands, those unattainable standards are human constructions, not divine commandments. And you have the power to choose not to believe them anymore. Do you know why you're here on earth? It's not to be perfect. It's not to never make mistakes. It's not to gain everyone's approval or fit into molds that were never made for you. You're here to live, to experience, to learn, to grow, to love, and that necessarily includes learning to love yourself. Because how can you fulfill your divine purpose if you're constantly at war with who you are? The spiritual journey isn't about transcending your humanity. It's about fully embracing it. It's about recognizing that you are spirit and matter, divine and human, light and shadow, and all these parts of you are worthy of love. Your weaknesses don't separate you from God. They bring you closer to true humility. Your mistakes don't condemn you. They teach you. Your wounds don't make you less sacred. They tell the story of a courageous soul that chose to live, to feel, to take risks. God isn't up there distant, waiting for you to become perfect to finally accept you. God is here inside you at this exact moment, whispering, "You are my beloved child. You are my precious daughter, and I rejoice in you, even when you stumble, even when you doubt, even when you feel lost." Divine love isn't conditional. It's not something you need to deserve. It simply is. And you're eternally wrapped in it. When you begin to see yourself through God's eyes, everything changes. You realize that taking care of yourself isn't vanity, it's that respecting your limits isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. That honoring your needs doesn't take you away from the spiritual path. It places you exactly at the center of it. Because you can't serve from an empty cup. You can't offer light if you're living in darkness. You can't spread love if you're dying of thirst for it. Self-love, when born from spirituality, becomes something completely different from what the world taught you. It's not narcissism, it's not pride, it's not superiority, it's the humble and profound recognition that you're part of something greater. It's understanding that by taking care of yourself, you're caring for a manifestation of the divine. It's treating your body as the temple it is. It's nourishing your mind with thoughts that honor the truth of who you are. It's guarding your energy for what really matters, instead of wasting it trying to prove your worth to those who will never understand. And you know what happens when you finally unite self-love and spirituality? You stop seeking validation outside because you found the inner source. You stop comparing yourself because you understood that each soul has its own path. You stop punishing yourself because you learned that transformation happens through love, not cruelty. You finally free yourself from the prison you built yourself and discover that you always had the keys. The spiritual perspective shows you that every moment of pain you lived had a purpose. Not because God wanted you to suffer, but because through suffering you developed compassion, depth, strength. Every time you fell and got back up, you proved to yourself that you're more resilient than you imagined. Every emotional scar you carry is a badge of honor, proof that you faced battles and survived. And now it's time to stop fighting and start healing. God is calling you home, not to a distant place in the heavens, but to the home that always existed inside your own heart. He's inviting you to return to yourself, to reconnect with your essence, to reconcile with who you really are, without masks, without pretensions, without fear. This is the most sacred invitation you can receive. And all you need to do is say yes. Yes to love. Yes to healing. Yes to yourself. And when you say that yes, when you accept this divine invitation, something miraculous begins to happen. Healing begins. And it's about this path of healing that we're going to talk about now.
Healing doesn't happen all at once. It's not a bolt of light that descends from heaven and transforms everything in an instant. Healing is gentle, gradual, delicate, like the dawn. It arrives in small moments of courage, in deeper breaths, in kinder thoughts. It happens every time you choose to treat yourself with compassion instead of cruelty. Every time you say no to what diminishes you and yes to what nourishes you. Every time you look in the mirror and, instead of listing defects, whisper a thank you to this body that carries you, to this heart that keeps beating, to this soul that never gave up. The first step on the path of healing is the most difficult, but also the most liberating. Acceptance. Accepting doesn't mean conforming or giving up on growth. Accepting means stopping fighting against what is. It means looking at your story, at your wounds, at your mistakes, and saying, this happened. This is part of me, and it's okay. Because while you reject parts of yourself, you live divided, fragmented, in internal war. And no war brings peace, only exhaustion. To accept is to allow yourself to be human. It's recognizing that you did the best you could with what you knew at that moment. It is letting go of the fantasy of a perfect version of yourself and embracing the reality of who you are now, with all the contradictions, complexities, and imperfections that make you unique. It's giving permission for you to be a process, not a finished product. A journey, not a destination. And then comes surrender. Surrender, this act of faith that frightens as much as it liberates. Surrendering isn't giving up control. It's recognizing that you never really had it. It's releasing the hands that hold so tightly. It's relaxing the shoulders that carry weights that aren't yours. It's trusting that there's a greater intelligence conducting your life, even when you don't understand the path. It's whispering to God, I don't know how to heal this alone. Primera, need help, and I trust that you are with me. Surrender isn't weakness. It's the deepest strength that exists. Because it takes a lot of courage to let go, to trust, to stop trying to control every detail and simply allow life to lead you. And when you surrender, when you finally open your hands and heart, something miraculous happens. You create space, space for the new to arrive. Space for healing to penetrate. Space for divine grace to do what you, alone, could never accomplish. On the path of healing, prayer becomes different. It's no longer that list of desperate requests. It's no longer bargaining with God. It's no longer begging for external changes. Prayer transforms into intimate conversation, into sacred encounter, into a moment of full presence. You no longer pray asking to be different from what you are. You pray thanking for being alive. You pray asking for eyes to see your own beauty. You pray for strength to love yourself on difficult days. You pray for the courage to choose yourself, even when that seems impossible. And you begin to cultivate practices that nourish this connection between self-love and spirituality. Maybe it's waking up a few minutes earlier to sit in silence, breathe, and simply be with yourself. Without judgment, without agenda. Whose presence? Maybe it's writing letters to your own soul, saying the kind words you always hope to hear from others. Maybe it's walking in nature and feeling that you're part of this sacred web of life, that you belong, that you're necessary. You learn to observe your thoughts with the same compassion you would observe a frightened child. When your inner voice cruelly whispers you're not good enough, you no longer automatically believe it. You pause, you breathe, and you respond with love. Thank you for trying to protect me, but that's not the truth. The truth is that I am enough, exactly as I am. And little by little, with gentle repetition, with infinite patience, you re-educate your mind, reprogram your heart, rebuild the way you relate to yourself. You establish boundaries and realize that this isn't cruelty toward others. It's love for yourself. You say no to what exhausts you, to what diminishes you, to what steals your peace. And every no you say to what doesn't serve you is a yes you give to your own dignity. It's an affirmation that your time is sacred. Your energy is precious. Your presence is a gift, not an obligation. You begin to care for your body no longer as punishment or pursuit of impossible standards, but as an act of reverence. You eat with consciousness, offering nutrition to this temple that houses your soul. You move your body not to punish it, but to celebrate it, to feel the joy of being alive, of being capable, of inhabiting this physical form that is a miracle in itself. You rest without guilt, because you understood that rest isn't laziness, it's wisdom. It's respecting the natural cycles of action and recovery that even nature honors. And you forgive. Forgiveness, this powerful medicine that dissolves invisible chains. You forgive others, yes, but mainly you forgive yourself. You forgive for all the times you didn't know better. You forgive for having accepted less than you deserved. You forgive for having betrayed yourself, abandoned yourself, forgotten yourself. You forgive because you understood that you were doing the best possible with the tools you had. And now you have new tools, new awareness, new capacity for choice. The path of healing isn't linear. There will be days when you'll feel strong, connected, full. And there will be days when the pain returns, when doubt whispers, when you feel back at the beginning. And that's okay. Healing isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. Sometimes you revisit places you thought you'd left behind, but never in the same way. Each turn of the spiral takes you higher, deeper, closer to the truth of who you are. And in every step of this path, God walks with you. On difficult mornings, He's the strength that makes you get out of bed. In moments of doubt, He's the gentle certainty that whispers you can do it. On lonely nights, He's the invisible presence that embraces you. You're never alone on this journey. You never were, and you never will be. The divine hand has always been extended, patiently waiting for you to have the courage to hold it. And then, slowly, so slowly that you almost don't notice day by day, but so deeply that it transforms everything. Something changes. The light begins to return. The weight diminishes. The heart that was closed begins to open, petal by petal, like a flower that finally trusts it's safe to bloom. And you realize you're no longer just surviving, you're beginning to truly live. And this, my dear, is the beginning of renewal. There's a moment in the journey when something ignites. You don't know exactly when it happened. You can't pinpoint the day or hour. But suddenly you realize faith has returned. Not that old faith, built on fear and obligation. Not that faith that made you small and guilty. But a new faith, alive, pulsating. A faith born from the true encounter between you and the divine. A faith that strengthens you instead of diminishing you. A faith that teaches you that you and God aren't separated. Never were. This renewal happens when you finally understand, not just with your mind, but with every cell of your being, that you are loved. Not for what you do, not for what you achieve, not for what you appear to be, but simply because you exist. Because you are. And this divine love has no conditions, has no limits, has no end. It was there when you were born. It was present in every mistake, in every stumble, in every moment of pain, and it will be there until your last breath, and beyond into eternity. When faith renews itself, you stop asking God to change your life and begin asking Him to change your perspective on it. You understand that miracles aren't just external and extraordinary events, but internal and profound transformations. The miracle is waking up and feeling gratitude instead of heaviness. It's looking in the mirror and seeing beauty where before there was only criticism. It's feeling peace in the middle of chaos. It's having the strength to choose love when it would be so much easier to choose fear. Your conversation with God changes completely. It's no longer a desperate negotiation. It's no longer a monologue of pleas. It's a real dialogue. Intimate. True. You speak, but you also listen. And God responds, not with thunderous voices coming from the clouds, but with gentle whispers in your heart, with synchronicities that seem like hugs from the universe, with people who appear at the right moment, with ideas that emerge like seeds of hope planted directly in your soul. You begin to see God in everything, in the first morning light coming through the window, in a stranger's smile, in the embrace of someone who loves you, in your own capacity to get up one more time, in the song that plays exactly what your heart needed to hear. God ceases to be a distant figure in some inaccessible heaven and becomes a living presence, here, now, in every breath, in every heartbeat. And you know what's most beautiful? When your faith renews itself, you discover that it was always there, waiting, even in the moments when you thought you'd lost everything, that you were alone, that God had abandoned you. Faith was dormant inside you, like a seed buried in darkness, waiting for the right moment to sprout. And now it blooms, and you realize that all those dark nights, all that desert you crossed, were necessary, because it was there, in the deepest place of pain, that you found the purest truth. You are indestructible. Your essence is eternal, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from divine love. This renewed faith gives you a different strength. It's not the strength of someone who never falls, but the certainty of someone who knows they can always get back up. It's not the arrogance of someone who judges themselves perfect, but the humility of someone who knows they're in process. It's not the illusion that you won't suffer anymore, but the confidence that, when suffering comes, you have internal resources to go through it. You have faith. You have and you have God. You realize that praying for self-love isn't superficial or it's one of the most spiritual prayers that exist. Because when you ask God to help you love yourself, you're asking Him to show you how He sees you. You're asking to see through divine eyes. You're asking to feel the love he's always had for you, but that you were too blocked, too hurt, too lost to perceive. And then things begin to align in mysterious ways. You become a magnet for what honors who you are. Toxic relationships naturally move away or transform. Opportunities that resonate with your purpose appear. You attract people who truly see you, who value you, who love you not despite who you are, but exactly because of it. Because when you finally love yourself, when you finally value yourself, you emit a different frequency, and the universe responds. Renewed faith doesn't make you naive or passive. On the contrary, it makes you courageous, because when you know you're sustained by something greater, you take more risks. You dream higher. You allow yourself to be seen. You dare to be authentic, even when that makes you vulnerable. Because you understood that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the gateway to true connection, both with others and with God. And you give thanks. You give thanks for the obvious blessings, but also for the disguised ones. You give thanks for the doors that closed because they led you to better paths. You give thanks for the people who hurt you because they taught you to strengthen your boundaries. You give thanks for the pain because it transformed you into someone more compassionate, more deep, more real. You give thanks for being alive, for having another chance, for being able to start over as many times as necessary. The renewal of faith doesn't mark the end of the journey. It marks the beginning of a new way of walking, with more lightness, with more confidence, with the certainty that you don't need to have all the answers, because God has them. You don't need to carry everything alone, because you were never alone. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, because you're already living proof of divine love and manifestation. And with this renewed faith burning gently in your chest, you're ready for the next step, looking at life with completely new eyes. And then you open your eyes, and the world seems different. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. That weight that lived on your shoulders, that cloud that hovered over your head, that fog that blurred everything, it dissipated. And now you see clearly. You see beauty where before there was only pain. You see opportunities where before there were only obstacles. You see yourself, finally, as you really are. A divine work in constant even. When you look in the mirror now, something has changed. You still see the same physical features, the same marks, the same lines. But the gaze is different. It's no longer a gaze of judgment, of comparison, of rejection. It's a gaze of recognition. You see yourself, not the idealized version you were chasing, not the perfect version that never existed, but you, truly. And you smile, because you finally understood that this person reflected is sacred, that this body you criticized so much carried you through storms, that this heart you hurt so much kept beating, kept loving, kept believing. You feel at home inside your own skin, not because you conquered perfection, but because you stopped searching for it. You allow yourself to be human, gloriously imperfect, wonderfully real. And in this profound acceptance, you find a freedom you never imagined possible. The freedom to simply be, without masks, without defenses, without the exhaustion of trying to be who you're not. Your energy has changed, people, not DC. There's a lightness in you now, a tranquility that wasn't there before. It's not that your life became perfect or free of challenges. It's that you developed inner peace. And this peace doesn't depend on external circumstances. It comes from within, from that renewed connection between you, your self-love, and God. It's the anchor that keeps you firm when the waves come. It's the light that guides you when the path darkens. You choose differently now. You choose relationships that nourish you, not drain you. You choose activities that fill you with life, not empty you. You choose thoughts that elevate you, not imprison you. And these choices don't come from a place of selfishness, but from a deep respect for yourself. Because you understood that taking care of yourself is honoring the sacred gift that is your life. It's valuing the miracle that is your existence. There's a gratitude that permeates everything now. You wake up and your first thought is no longer anxiety about the day. It's gratitude for one more morning, one more opportunity, one more breath. You look at the small things and see miracles. The hot coffee, the sun coming through the window, the sound of birds, the message from someone who cares. You realize that life doesn't happen in the great spectacular moments, but in these small instances of presence, of connection, of sacred simplicity. Your relationships transform. Not necessarily because people changed, but because you changed the way you relate. You no longer seek completeness in the other, because you found it in yourself. You no longer accept crumbs of affection, because you recognized your own worth. You no longer lose yourself trying to save those who don't want to be saved, because you learn that each person has their own journey, and you establish boundaries with love, knowing that protecting your peace isn't rejecting others, it's honoring yourself. And when you love someone now, you love from a different place. Not from luck, but from abundance. Not from the need to fill a void, but from the desire to share fullness. Your love becomes freer, lighter, truer, because you finally understood that you can't give what you don't have. And now that you've learned to love yourself, your love for others flows naturally, genuinely, without suffocating expectations or unhealthy dependencies. There's a gentle confidence you've developed. Not the arrogance of someone who thinks they're superior, but the quiet certainty of someone who knows their worth. You no longer need to shout to be heard, because your presence speaks. You no longer need to prove anything, because you know who you are. You're no longer shaken by others' opinions, because you found your internal truth. And this truth, rooted in self-love and faith, is unshakable. You perceive purpose in your life now. Not necessarily a grandiose purpose that will change the entire world, but the sacred purpose of living authentically, of loving generously, of growing continuously. You understood that your mission isn't to be extraordinary in others' eyes, but to be true to your own eyes and God's eyes. And in this truth, you find meaning. Each day becomes an opportunity to honor who you are, to express your unique essence, to leave your subtle but important mark on the fabric of existence. Challenges still come, because that's the nature of life, but you face them differently. Not as a victim, but as a learner. Not with despair, but with faith. You know that every obstacle carries a lesson, every difficulty an opportunity for growth, every storm a chance to prove to yourself how strong you've become, and you're no longer alone in these battles. You have your self-love as a shield, your faith as a sword, and God as an eternal ally. You laugh more, you play more, You allow yourself lightness, because you understood that spirituality isn't sternness or constant seriousness. Spirituality is celebration of life in all its colors, textures, and flavors. It's dancing in the rain. It's singing, even off-key. It's allowing yourself joy, pleasure, fun, without guilt, without restriction, because you finally accepted that you deserve to be happy. And at the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow, there's peace. A deep peace that comes from knowing you did the best you could, that you treated yourself with kindness, that you honored your needs, that you lived aligned with your values, that you were true to yourself. And this peace, my dear, is the true treasure. It's what you've been searching for your whole life without knowing. And now that you've found it, you keep it carefully. Nurture it with love. Protect it with wisdom. This new perspective isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a life that finally makes sense. And here we are, you and I, reaching the end of this journey that, in truth, is only the beginning of something much greater. If you've come this far, if you've allowed these words to touch your heart, if you open space to question old beliefs and embrace new possibilities, know that this is already an act of profound courage. This is already a step toward healing. This is already self-love in action. What we learn today isn't just beautiful theory to be forgotten tomorrow. It's an invitation to a real, daily, constant transformation. It's a reminder that you no longer need to live at war with yourself, that you no longer need to carry the weight of being perfect, that you no longer need to seek outside what has always been kept inside, patiently waiting for you to have eyes to see. The union between self-love and spirituality isn't luxury. It's not optional. It's not something you leave for later, when you have time, when life is calmer, when you finally deserve it. This union is urgent. It's essential. It's the foundation upon which your entire life can be rebuilt. Because when you learn to love yourself through God's eyes, when you treat yourself with the reverence you would dedicate to the sacred, everything changes. Your relationships change. Your work gains new meaning. Your health improves. Your peace establishes itself. Your joy returns. Loving yourself isn't an act of rebellion against God. It's the most profound act of obedience to the divine commandment. Because if God is love, and you are God's creation, then loving yourself is honoring the love that created you. It's recognizing the divine in you. It's saying yes to life, yes to your uniqueness, yes to the sacred purpose that only you can fulfill. No one else can be you. No one else has your unique combination of gifts, experiences, perspectives, and when you reject yourself, when you diminish yourself, when you deny yourself, you're depriving the world of something precious that only you can offer. Spirituality without self-love is incomplete because it teaches you to love God and your neighbor, but makes you forget that you are also your own neighbor. It makes you forget that the most sacred temple you need to care for is UNT in any external construction. But here, in this body, in this mind, in this soul that was entrusted to you, and how can you care well for a temple you despise? How can you keep the divine flame burning in a place you neglect? The most important teaching you can take from here is this. You are worthy, not because you conquered, not because you proved, not because you finally fit into some impossible standard. You are worthy because you exist, because you breathe, because you are a living manifestation of the love that sustains the universe. And this worthiness cannot be taken from you. Not by the mistakes you made, not by the people who rejected you, not by the voices that told you you're not enough. Your worthiness is inherent, is eternal, is unquestionable. And when you live from this truth, when you wake up each morning remembering who you really are, when you make decisions honoring your worth, when you establish boundaries protecting your peace, when you choose thoughts that elevate you, when you treat your body as the temple it is, when you nourish your soul with what is beautiful and true, you're not just transforming your own life, you're changing the world around you. Because each person who heals, who loves themselves, who connects with the divine within, radiates a light that inspires others to do the same. You're not alone on this journey. God walks by your side in every step. He always walked. He always will walk. And every time you choose love instead of fear, every time you choose compassion instead of judgment, every time you choose to honor yourself, instead of betraying yourself, you come a little closer to this divine presence that never abandoned you. You close the imaginary abyss you thought existed between you and the sacred. You return home. So, my dear, take this with you. Loving yourself is an act of faith. Perhaps the most powerful act of faith that exists. It's believing that you are created with intention, with purpose, with infinite love. It's trusting that even when you don't understand, even when you stumble, even when you doubt, there's a greater force sustaining you, guiding you, loving you unconditionally. And the more you love yourself, the more you honor this divine love, the more you care for yourself, the more you reflect God's light, the more you value yourself, the more you fulfill your sacred purpose of being exactly who you were created to be. Don't wait until you're perfect to start loving yourself. Start now. Start today. Start with a kind thought, with a choice that honors you, with a moment of compassionate presence with yourself, and then continue, day after day, choice after choice, building a life where self-love and spirituality aren't separate concepts, but faces of the same sacred truth. You are loved. You always were. You always will be. And it's time for you to finally believe it. If these words touched your heart, if something inside you moved, if a tear fell or a sigh of relief left your chest, know that it wasn't coincidence. It was God whispering to your soul. It's time. It's time to come back home. It's time to love yourself. And this divine whisper will continue echoing in you in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in every moment when you choose to look at yourself with kindness instead of cruelty. But I know the journey doesn't end here. I know there are wounds still needing healing, pain still asking for embrace, and one of the deepest pains we can carry is rejection. That feeling of not being chosen, of not being seen, of not being enough for someone you loved or for a dream you pursued. Rejection can break the heart in ways that seem impossible to heal, but they're not. In the next video, we're going to talk about something that may be affecting you right now. How to overcome rejection and find peace again. We're going to discover together that rejection doesn't define your worth, that it's often divine redirection taking you where you really need to be. We're going to learn to transform this pain into wisdom, this no into a yes for something better, this wound into a doorway to even deeper self. If you're carrying the pain of rejection, if you still can't understand why it happened, if you need peace to move forward, the next video is for you. And if today's message helped you in any way, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave in the comments what touched your heart most. Your presence here matters. Your journey matters. You matter. See you soon, dear soul. May God bless you, keep you, and always remind you how loved you are. And may you never forget again. Loving yourself isn't selfishness. It's the most sacred way to honor the love that created you.